Joining me now is Oneile Baitlotli, a member of the class of 2021 who comes to Notre Dame from Botswana. Oneile, when we communicated last night, you indicated to me that your full name's very difficult to pronounce. So how did I do?
You surprisingly did a lot better in the last name. Usually when people ask us, just don't say it. Let's skip over it. But you really did well on the last name.
Thank you. Welcome to Notre Dame Day. You're from Botswana. What brought you to Notre Dame?
So the business school, like Notre Dame is in Indiana. I cannot claim that I knew what Indiana was or where it is. I didn't, but I was looking for a business school that looked beyond just let's make profits, and Notre Dame popped up in one of my Google searches. I was like, okay, first of all, where is Indiana? So that's how I ended up looking at it. Mendoza was really impressive, so I applied, and now I'm here.
Well, don't feel bad. I will not embarrass him, but there's a former Notre Dame men's basketball player from Baltimore who got on the plane, and when he landed at Indiana, he asked what he was doing here because he thought Notre Dame was in Boston. So you are not alone. Now, like many students, you came to the university intending to study one thing and eventually found your way into another major, political science and peace studies. What drew you to these subjects?
That is true. So the business school does emphasize doing good through business, but I realized that the environment there was not really getting at what I was hoping to get at, which is, okay, how are we solving some of the problems that the most marginalized people in our communities are facing? And I think that's where I found a home in political science and peace studies. It felt like there was more flexibility to just be able to explore and just ask the questions I wanted to ask or come up with the solutions to. I'm really interested in education policy, so I get to focus on that without worrying about an accounting class. But I still appreciated my time in Mendoza.
Now, this past spring, when the pandemic hit, you were studying abroad in Greece. Tell us about being overseas when everything changed, and were you able to return home to Botswana when the program was canceled?
Yeah, it was exciting. I really looked forward to going to Greece and experiencing that whole culture. But it definitely was cut short. I think we were there for a little over a month, and then the news broke, then we had to come back. But at the time, because everything was so up in the air, I chose to come back to Notre Dame instead of going home, with the hope that, okay, get to Notre Dame and then book plans to go home, but then everything shut down. So I ended up spending the entire semester at Notre Dame instead. So I didn't go home.
Where'd you stay on campus? Was it, I understand it was at the Morris Inn?
Yes, I was in the Morris Inn when I arrived around March, I first quarantined for 14 days. So I was off campus in university housing for 14 days. Then when my quarantine was over, that's when I was transferred to Morris Inn till the end of the semester. Then from there, we were moved to Fisher for the summer, because during the summer, that's when everything, like a lot of countries were experiencing their first waves or second wave. So it was really hard to travel home, but I did get to eventually go home.
How long were you able to stay home? How long were you able to visit?
I went home for winter break, which made me so thankful that it was a much longer winter break since I didn't go home for the summer. So I was home for almost 2 months for the winter break, which was a fun time.
You know, watching you and listening to you, I get the sense that nothing ever rattles you. Whatever happens, you just deal with it and move on.
I do. I really try. This is not to say it's never difficult, but I think what I've come to be most appreciative of is the support system I have, whether it's my friends, family, but also Notre Dame. I keep telling some of my friends, and they think I'm crazy, that honestly, if anything ever happens and I am in Notre Dame or the vicinity of Notre Dame, I am fine because I know it'll be okay. There's just a sense of comfort that I feel being in this place. So I'm happy. I guess that explains why I am going to be a double domer. But yeah, Notre Dame has been an awesome place.
So what's the other degree going to be in?
I am getting a master's in global affairs. So when I graduate in May, I'll be back in the fall.
Well, I think you are going to do great things. Oneile, thank you for staying up late to visit with us tonight. And I think I learned a lot, and I know you're going to be a great success. So thanks again.
Thank you for having me, and have a good one.
We'll do our best.